Meet Alex and Maya. They're both 34. Alex works in tech. Maya works in healthcare. Together, they earn about $160,000 a year. On paper, they're doing great. They own a home. They drive reliable cars. They contribute to retirement. They don't buy designer clothes or take luxury vacations. And yet, every month feels tight. They check their bank account before grocery shopping. A surprise expense causes real anxiety. One missed paycheck would create a serious problem. They lie in bed at night, tired, stressed, quietly wondering, how are we making this much money and still feel this broke? This isn't a story about irresponsibility. This is a story about something deeper. Because Alex and Maya are not failing at money. They're living inside a system that quietly changed the rules. And today, we're going to talk about a truth most people never say out loud. Two incomes do not automatically mean financial security. In modern life, dual-income households are often more financially fragile than single-income households decades ago. Not because people are lazy, not because they're bad with money, but because the math and the risk works very differently now. If this story feels familiar, that's not an accident. Most people watching this did exactly what they were told to do. You got an education, you built a career, you partnered up, you combined incomes, you bought a home when you could, you tried to be responsible. No yachts, no reckless spending, no fantasy lifestyle. Just normal life. And yet, somehow, life feels heavier than it should. The stress isn't about luxuries, it's about lack of margin. It's the feeling that everything depends on everything going right. Both jobs, both paychecks, both people staying healthy, childcare working out, the car not breaking down, the roof not leaking. There's no room to breathe. If you feel this, you're not alone and you're not broken. The system quietly changed, but the advice didn't. For decades, we've been told one simple idea. Two incomes are better than one. It sounds obvious. More money means more security. Two paychecks mean less risk. If one person struggles, the other can carry the load. That logic made sense once. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That advice was built for a different economic reality. Today, two incomes often don't create security. They create dependency. The belief isn't that two incomes help. The belief is that two incomes are required. And that's where the trap begins. Because once your entire lifestyle depends on both incomes, you no longer have redundancy. You have zero-slack systems. Every dollar is already assigned. Every paycheck is already spent before it arrives. This is what's often called the two-income trap. Not a trap of greed, a trap of structure. Let's compare two households. A single-income household in the 1970s. One parent works, the other may stay home or work part-time. The house is modest, one car. Fewer subscriptions, lower expectations, but also lower fixed costs. Here's the key difference. That household had margin. If the worker lost a job, the other adult could step in. If hours were cut, expenses could be reduced. Childcare wasn't a mandatory cost just to keep earning. Now compare that to a modern dual-income household. Both adults work full-time. Childcare is required, not optional. The mortgage is sized for two incomes. Health insurance is tied to employment. Retirement depends on constant contributions. There is no backup income. There is no pause button. If one income disappears, the entire system shakes. Not because the people failed, but because the structure has no flexibility. And meanwhile, the biggest costs exploded. Housing rose faster than wages. Childcare became a second mortgage. Healthcare grew unpredictable and expensive. So we didn't double security, we doubled exposure. Let's slow down and do simple math. No spreadsheets, no jargon, just reality. Imagine one partner earns $50,000 a year. Sounds meaningful. But now subtract. First, taxes, federal, state, payroll. That $50,000 becomes roughly $38,000. Now childcare. Even modest childcare can cost $15,000 to $20,000 a year. Let's be conservative, $15,000. Now we're at $23,000. Add commuting costs, gas, parking, car wear, insurance. Maybe $4,000 a year. Now we're at $19,000. Add work-related costs, clothes, convenience food, time-saving services. Another $3,000. Now we're at $16,000. That's about $1,300 a month for an entire second job. And here's the part no one budgets for: exhaustion spending. When both people are depleted, money fills the gaps. Takeout instead of cooking, convenience instead of planning, spending to compensate for time scarcity. That second income doesn't disappear, but it often doesn't create real safety either. It creates cash flow, not stability. The real danger isn't working two jobs. The danger is building your life around two incomes. When you do that, everything scales up. The house becomes bigger and more expensive. The neighborhood is chosen for schools, not flexibility. The cars are newer because reliability is required. Debt payments become fixed. Expenses become non-negotiable. Now ask this question: what happens if one income stops, even temporarily? Illness, burnout, layoffs, a child with special needs, an aging parent. In a one-income designed life, that's painful. In a two-income dependent life, it's catastrophic. That's financial fragility, not lack of income, lack of options. There's a different way to think about this. Not easy, but powerful. Build your life on one income, not because the second income is bad, but because it should be optional. The second income becomes savings, debt reduction, investments, flexibility, choice. It becomes the buffer, not the foundation. This doesn't mean quitting jobs overnight. It doesn't mean radical downsizing tomorrow. It means slowly asking better questions. What if we needed one income to stop? What expenses actually protect our peace? What are we paying for just to survive our schedule? Real wealth isn't luxury, it's resilience. If you feel stretched, tired, or quietly anxious about money, you're not imagining it. You didn't fail. You followed advice that no longer fits reality. Two incomes don't guarantee security. Margin does. Flexibility does. The ability to absorb life when it happens, because it always does. So don't panic. Don't compare. Don't shame yourself. Just start questioning assumptions that were handed to you without context. Success isn't having the biggest lifestyle you can sustain. It's having choices when life changes. If this video helped you see your situation more clearly, take a moment to reflect on your own structure, not your worth. And if you want more honest conversations about money, life, and resilience, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and keep thinking critically. Because clarity is the first step toward freedom.